Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Openfront.io, the dev versions, or version, I guess I should say. So I wanted to jump in here, and I wanted to check out the newest dev version because there's a lot of new stuff coming, and just wanted to give my thoughts on it, see how things go. So I thought I'd jump in here to a large world map and just play a game, see how things feel. There's been a bunch of changes. We're going to go over it. You may already notice one of them, pretty significant, and in my opinion, a very interesting change. I know, I believe Enzo already did a video on it, but we're just going to expand here, and it's a bot game. Basically, nobody plays on the dev version except for, you know, people who are actively developing the game or just somebody who wanted to test out the new features. But there's some things going on here. I'm not super familiar with all of them, and this also isn't my normal recording setup. You might be able to not read anything on the screen because this is my Ultra HD screen. I'll probably have to zoom in on some things. So we have some bars up here. I'm not entirely sure what these bars mean in the grand scheme of things. They're very clearly tied to our population. So as we use our population, this orange bar goes up, and as we send troops out, it goes down, much in comparison to this. And then we also have that blue bar there. But we also have this number, and as you can see, this number was very high at the start, and some of these bots also have very high numbers. This is I guess the best way to put it from my understanding is that it's like a defense modifier to your empire. So the more troops you have and the more land you have, that will change. So the larger your troop count, the higher your defense modifier, but also the more territory you have, the lower your defense modifiers. I think that's the easiest way to think about it. So you see Niger over here has 5,000 troops, but their defense modifier is much higher than mine, which means their territory is going to be harder to take compared to mine, which is much lower. I believe the Openfront.dev mentioned on Enzo's video that the main difference is that defense is now tied to the number of troops and the number of tiles owned. So as you get bigger, your defenses decrease. And their idea is they want to prevent players from snowballing, and they want to encourage players to attack the crown, as larger players will be easier to conquer. Will that happen? I don't know. I kind of have my doubts. Players often tend to be loath to attack larger players in general, and I'm a little bit concerned that this modifier is just going to cause people to not expand. They're going to turtle up, but they're going to be a lot more careful with their troops. And at the end of the day, they're going to have much, much, much slower paced games. Whether this is a good thing or a bad thing is subjective. I know there definitely needs to be something to encourage players to attack the ground. That is absolutely accurate. I complain in many of my videos about how, you know, certain players would win, or at least do better, if they would just backstab their enemy, attack the crown, and, you know, you win, or you lose, or you at least do better than just sitting around and letting the crown win. Because that tends to be the problem that happens right now, is that once the crown becomes the crown, they have a tendency of just kind of snowballing the map. And obviously that's what they're trying to avoid with the introduction of this kind of... I don't know what the official word's going to be for it, but we'll call it a defense modifier for now, like a base defense modifier. That's the easiest way to explain it. It describes what it is, so on and so forth. So we're quite big. Australia down here is much bigger. I think we're going to ally with Australia. And this is the mega... We're also going to ally with Chad. This is the mega world map, so everything is really inflated. There's a lot of land, a lot of regions to capture. It's nice. I actually really like this map. I'm sure it struggles on newer PCs. Okay, so it looks like those troops still count for your population. I don't know. I don't know what these bars mean. I'm sure they're important, but as you can see here, Algeria here has a large landmass, and they don't have a lot of troops. So what this is more inclined for having me attack Algeria than it is Nigeria, because Nigeria has a much higher base defense modifier, right? But as Algeria gets smaller, that base defense modifier is going to go up. Well, if he doesn't, we'll squander away all of his troops, that is. So it's definitely an interesting concept. I definitely like the idea. I don't know how other players are going to handle it, though. I worry a little bit that it's just going to result in more players acting defensively, being more careful, and not overextending, which could just lead to a slowdown of the game in general. I think you want games to be in the 20 to 30 minute range. I don't think you really want super long games. I think that's a little bit counterintuitive. But again, like I said, a lot of these things, the meta tends to change. It's that way with any game, right? The more people that touch it, the more people that work with it, the more the meta kind of adjusts and changes and flows as time goes by. And how this works in the grand scheme of things, only time will tell. I should also mention that this is an in-development version. I'll probably put just like in development up here at the top of the screen, just because, yeah, all of these things are subject to change. Nothing here, none of this may even get into the final product. It probably will, though. I can't think of many major changes that haven't made it into the final product. Some adjustments from here and there, but nothing massive. But, yeah, so we're doing pretty good. So, from what I understand of what I'm seeing with the top bar basically shows your pops. How close you are to reaching, I'm assuming, the next tier of interest. Let's just let it tick up for a little bit and see what happens. We may not be able to, because the bots will get quite powerful. Kazakhstan, extremely strong bot right there. But that's okay. So yeah, the closer it gets to the top, the higher your population is. And I assume that it's... yeah. Okay. And then when you do a big attack, those pops go down. Okay. Yeah, so something that occurred in the older version of the game, when you sent your troops out to attack, so say I attacked the Russian Confederation here, these troops didn't count towards your maximum population, your total pops. So you could kind of do something where you could like seesaw between green and yellow interest to really maximize your gains as far as pop growth. Now you keep those numbers, which means your troop growth is proportional to that, and it doesn't really change. So if I attack, let's attack Spain, for example. In the current version, this number would go down, or it would go up. My bad. It would go up because you'll have increased production capacity. So if I attack Spain, it actually went down. And then as we lose troops, it goes back up. So these troops still count as, like, being part of my empire. They don't just disappear into the ether. And, yeah, I think this will make, like, economic plays a lot more viable. Of course, building cities and ports is still probably going to be king. I will be surprised if that ever changes. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think that as time progresses, players with the better economy will just naturally come out on top, assuming they don't do something incredibly stupid. And again, I don't think that's a bad thing, because I believe that the people who are better at building their economy should win in a long game. My concern is more along the lines of I believe that this is going to turn the game into an extremely long game. Every game might be 30, 40, 50 minutes, if not longer, just because people are going to be afraid to do things. Which people are already afraid of doing things, but when the crown is afraid to do things, that's when things will start really slowing down. And that's when games usually start slowing down. When there's like a balance of power, and I suppose at that point that would be where your MIRVs and nukes take into account. But the thing is, and this is something that's mentioned by a few people, you know, a lot of times games like this, the .io genre, for lack of a better word, they're kids. No offense to anybody out there. You're kids, you know, you're coming home from school or you're getting ready for school. You just want to play a quick 20, 30-minute game. You don't want to dig into your Elden Rings or your Oblivion Remastered. You just want to play a quick little game before school starts or ends, or before you do your homework, and you don't really want to commit to an hour-long slog. And I get that. I understand that. I've definitely been in that position many times. Even as an adult, there's a lot of times where you just don't have time to play a very long game. So we'll see how that affects everything in the grand scheme of things. I still love Openfront. I think it's a fun game. I think the changes are interesting from somebody who has dedicated a lot of time and effort to playing Openfront. I don't think that I'm the norm, though. I wanted to vote there. Yeah, there we go. I definitely don't think I'm the norm. And, well, I have a pretty good general feeling of how to play the game. I don't know if you want to be building it based on what would be most interesting for an hour-long video. I don't know. Again, it's something that's going to probably do fine. I'm probably blowing it out of proportion a little bit, but I do worry about those things because, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of people who aren't looking for a long and involved game. I want to capture this island. I want to build a silo because that's something else that has changed. The animations for the nukes are absolutely gorgeous. You have the sort of parabola curve of the explosive now, and you also have a fancy little animation. I don't think the animation actually does anything. Like, I don't think these fires actually do damage to the enemies, but they're interesting. They're neat. I like them. They make the game feel more dynamic and more interesting, and that's what the game needs. Like, for mass appeal, you want the game to look good. So, but yeah, you can see here I have almost 500,000 troops. I've been taking this very slowly. I only have like a 30 base defense, which is not super high, but is probably higher than many of the other players around me who have been using their troops. Mexico over here has a 20 defense, but it's just another aspect of the game that you kind of have to, you know, look into. And like I've been saying, like, time will tell whether this will be good or not. I think it's interesting. I think it could be good. I'm going to withhold judgment until the grander scheme of everything comes out and see how it looks for mass appeal. All right, yeah, we have this silo fired. We can now see more clearly. Well, kind of. We can kind of see more clearly where the nuke came from. So you're not going to be able to do like a stealthy nuke on your enemies or anything like that. I don't really necessarily think that was a problem to begin with, especially now that, especially since they updated the game so that you could see who's nuking you. Although you could do sneaky things like, you know, you could fire a nuke offshore like this. And that'll fire a nuke, and that'll do damage here, but it won't actually show you who fired it, unless you're very perceptive. I did that a lot. I've done that a lot. It kind of stops that a little bit, but I don't really think that was much of a problem anyway, so, yeah, it's cool, and that's the important part. I think the game being cool goes a long way to it being successful. You'd be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't be surprised, at how much people are willing to let slide if your game is just really cool and really fun to play. Not that I think that there's like a problem where like, Openfront.dev is ruining everything and destroying the world. No. I don't think there's any controversy there, at least not right now. Not that I'm aware of, anyhow. But yeah, I mean, look at, well, I mean, I'd say look at Territorial.io, but Territorial.io isn't really doing that great these days. No offense to them, they're not doing that good nowadays. We're gonna boat across here just to make this go a little bit faster. But you can see Russia's defense, like base defense, is very bad. And we're just rolling straight through them because they just don't have the people. The idea is that they just don't have the people to defend all of the land that they have. And as we attack, we also lose our base defense. And in theory, somebody like Chad or one of these players over here could potentially, especially Canada. Canada has 400,000 troops. Wow. They could take advantage of that. Will they? Probably not. This is a pretty straightforward. Well, I say it's pretty straightforward. We still have to deal with the crown, I guess. And my game's chugging a little bit, but that's not really all that surprising considering how many pixels there are on this. This is a big map. Like, this is an enormous map. It's part of why I like playing it so much. Because you get these big armies attacking in everywhere. It's nice. It's nice. What are you? I'll take that. I definitely want to take on Kazakhstan. I'm just not quite sure. Oh, well, he's attacking me. Okay. Where is he attacking me? He's attacking me up here. But I'm capturing land down here? Huh. Oh no, this is Iran. Oh. Oh, well, I mean, they're the same color. So, my bad. My bad, Iran. You don't have to nuke me. Oh, well, rip. Here, we have the mountains here. This is a good place to put some defense posts. We may need them. But the boys are just going to start lobbing nukes at me, and I'm going to lob nukes back. I don't see a reason not to. There we go. I also have to get some ships out here into the harbor because these players are going to start migrating. And they're going to be migrating this way. So I want to make sure I have all of my tools at my disposal. So we still have a couple big attacks going on. Kazakhstan. South Africa has 160k troops. Okay. I think we continue to attack Iran. They are the weakest out of them all, but you know, as the case may be, they do have a higher defense bonus than Kazakhstan. So maybe that wasn't the best move. Maybe it was. I don't know. Is it the best move to attack the player with the lowest defense bonus? Time will tell. Time will absolutely tell. Here, we'll push Kazakhstan off of us. Russia is also trying to get back into the game here. But yeah, as you commit more and more troops, your troop numbers go down and your defense goes down. And that is something you definitely want to be aware of going forward once this update hits. It's important to keep in mind that this update isn't out yet. And that's what the in-dev comment is for, because it's still under development. They're still adjusting and tweaking everything. All right, let's bring down Iran, shall we? Oh, he's preparing a nuke there. Let's stop that in its tracks. This is such a chunky map. I mentioned how it doesn't bother me, but I'm just sitting here watching the game chunk slower and slower. I can't remember if this map is actually in the current version or not. But, yeah, it's funny. I get a chuckle out of it. I really like this map. It makes you feel like you're on a map of the world instead of just, like, a partial map. Or, like, I guess you could call it, like, a arcade map, almost. Okay. Let's drop a couple more cities. We want to spread them out a little bit. We don't want to get into a position where we just get hit by a nuke and die. Also, we should play around with, not MIRVs. I don't want to play around with MIRVs. I want to play around with, SAMs, Surface-to-Air Missile Silos. So maybe once we take control of Eurasia over here, we will plan to... Okay, that is us. Kind of take up a defensive stance, just so that we can play around with the new MIRV, or the new MIRVs. Again, I call it a MIRV. I meant SAMs. I mean, we might be able to MIRV people, too. MIRVing is something that I don't think I've really shown in a video too much lately, because it doesn't really happen a lot. Like, a lot of the games that I play don't go long enough for them to be stalemates. Whether that's a good or a bad thing, again, up for debate. That's not for me to say. Okay, South Africa is still pushing on me. But we should be able to finish off Kazakhstan here. The other thing you're going to want to be aware of course, is as you push a player, their defenses are going to be higher too. So as I push into this land, assuming they're not counter-pushing, that is, their defense bonus will increase. So in the older version of the game, you would see me like counter-attacking a lot of attacks from the enemy, because you want to kind of slow down their advance. You don't want them to just advance through your territory, because there was no real benefit to having a lot of troops in your territory. But that's kind of changed a little bit. And I think that is a good change, absolutely. We have a lot of people attacking me now. Okay. So we need to take out some of these players. I think South Africa is the most likely target. And they are the biggest. Here, we'll lob a silo, a nuke at their silo. And we're just going to let Mongolia play their reindeer games for now. As we try the defense up here. There we go. And we're just going to focus on South America. Or South Africa, not South America. Did I call it South America earlier? Maybe. Maybe I did. Who knows? Okay. Mongolia's size is very worrisome for me. They are quite large. They are basically equivalent to me, functionally. But I should be able to capture South Africa pretty handily. I think there is still a speed increase the more you attack, the more troops you send. But again, you want to be careful about overcommitting on your troops, because if you commit too many troops, your base defense modifier will go down. And it's just things you want to keep in mind when you're fighting a war, when you're doing battle with the enemy. Okay, so Mongolia has ceased attacking me. Interesting. And is this... it's a South African warship. Okay. So we can't really attack South Africa and eliminate them because they have this warship out here and we don't... I mean... let's do it. Ugh, it's so slow. It's so slow to do that, but it's fine. They should delete themselves. They should delete each other. Is that what's happening? Yes. Okay. And then we land troops. Let's go. So the big question is going to be, how do the numbers compare? Like, how many troops do you need for this to go up, and how many do you need for it to benefit you the most? And it's going to be an interesting question. It's going to be an interesting question to ask. All right, let's push on Mongolia. They're going to continue nuking me. It's okay. I have the troop advantage. I have better defense. I should be able to just push them off. They do have the defense posts that I built earlier. But we may be able to make something work here. Let's try to boat into there. See what we can do. But yeah, once we conquer Mongolia, we should be good to go. We should be winning. All right, let's build a SAM launcher. I don't think the icon for SAM launchers haven't changed. I know there's been a little bit talk of putting like a circle around them to show like how far they defend. But I don't believe that's been implemented. It may not be implemented at all. Again, this is in development, so who knows what might actually make it into the game. There we go. That's working quite well, yeah? It's kind of interesting. Other than, like, this part of Antarctica and, I mean, even Greenland, like, everything is kind of separated into its own different continents. You have your Africa, you have Asia, India, Australia, Brazil, Canada. It's cool. I like it. Now we just kind of slow grind through the enemy, and hopefully we'll win. And we probably will. I don't see the AI mounting good naval invasions, especially when they're so busy nuking themselves. Which means we just have to take out Mongolia, and we'll be good to go, basically. And then that'll get us all of Mongolia's land. That'll get us up into these bots up here. It'll be great. Yeah, so you can still grow your population when you attack. And of course, he can also counterattack, which is where a bunch of those troops were chunked at. Here, I also want to capture this island, because this island has a lot of infrastructure on it. And these two are just going at it, which I say, let them. I'm a little bit worried about Antarctica. I'm going to send a couple of ships around, just to kind of reduce the likelihood of a naval invasion. Although I don't really see that as a likely outcome at this point. Yeah, it's a little bit deceptive on this large map because, again, this is a massive map, so everything is so slow. But yeah, you can kind of see how, like, how much slower a lot of these are. Ooh. Can they just full send? Maybe. I mean, they're still in this wild stalemate between Canada and Brazil. Maybe we just sit back after we capture this and we see who wins that war. Because that's a pretty close war, yeah? I think Brazil technically has the upper hand right now. But they're doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good. Do I want to pick a fight with Greenland? Maybe. I mean, I will eventually want to pick a fight with Greenland. That is a fact. I just want to make sure I'm ready for that fight when it happens. SAM launchers are up to 3 million. It's crazy. It's crazy how expensive those become. Yeah, so if Mongolia was a player, I would be a lot more concerned because, like, he could put up defensive posts in these mountains, and if he left his population grow, he'd have a pretty high defensive bonus there. And again, I'm not sure how much that will matter yet. It'll be interesting to see how things turn out. This will definitely, like, either way, whether this is a good change or a bad thing, it will completely revamp the way the game is played. It'll completely upturn strategies. People will have to adjust their planning, and they'll maybe have to think a little bit harder before full sending on another player. Although, will they? Who knows? People love full sending. Even I have a tendency of full sending against players sometimes. Not necessarily intentionally. It's more along the lines of a lot of times I will send troops at somebody and then, oh, oops, I'm out of troops. Where did they all go? That's right, they went into the enemy. Okay, we are definitely overwhelming Mongolia now. And we also have this area opened up to us now. So we should be able to conquer these spots. Oh, are we going to be able to see? No, it's going to hit our silo. RIP. RIP, silo. I knew you well. Now, something that this does encourage is not, like, attacking every player around you. Because, obviously, every single time you commit troops, they get pulled out of your pool. They can no longer defend your territory. And unlike before, where you would kind of get free pop growth from that, you don't really get that now. Instead, when you attack, you kind of lose pop growth in a way. See, if I were to just, like, overcommit against all of these bots, look what happens to my defense boost, and I am not really gaining that many troops in the grand scheme of things. And then Mongolia attacks. You can still do that to, like, pretend that you're weak, and then you can call your troops back, and it won't be a problem anymore. There's a lot of things you could do. There's a lot of things you could do in this game, and I think that's why I like it so much. Like, there's so many, like, little strategies and tactics that you can do, and, you know, sometimes you can pull a fast one on your opponent, and things will go well for you. Sometimes your opponent will pull a fast one on you, and then you'll be the one who gets destroyed. It's all relative. It's all relative to what's going on in the game, how things are going, and, you know, the sort of acumen of the players involved. Awareness is a big factor. Being aware of what's going on in an Openfront game, so important. You gotta know what the enemies are doing. Because if you don't, then you're going to get taken by surprise by something. And I think that's one of the things that, I don't want to say it's caused me trouble, but it's kind of caused me trouble in recent memory. People are a lot better at the game. And in doing so, they're a lot more aware of what's going on in the game. So, like, some of the, like, little sneaky things I could get away with before, I can't get away with them now. Which has led to the game becoming significantly harder in some aspects. Instead of sneaking onto, like, a little tiny island, like, they got rid of a lot of the little tiny islands, which I'm not against that, not entirely, because I feel like having to stomp a player constantly because they're island hopping, not really a great way to design that kind of experience. You want people to have fun with the game, not be chasing around little ships. And I think I've shown that off many times. So I keep attacking this. I need to send a boat. Yeah. There we go. And that should be the end of Mongolia. No, not quite. This should be the end of Mongolia. They burned all of their money to defeat me. But in the end, I am the victor. I'm the captain. Alright, so now we have a dominating lead on this map. Just gotta clean up our borders a little bit. And meanwhile, these players haven't really done much of anything. They've kind of bashed their faces into each other so much. Here, let's get these ships over here. So, I think I attack Greenland. I have all the money in the world. We're just going to bomb the heck out of it. And that's the other cool thing, is that with the visual changes to nukes, you can kind of see the salvo, you know, fly across the territory. It's really cool. I like it. Is this one going to get intercepted, though? Maybe. Let's go. Come on. Do it. Nice. So there hasn't really been much of a change there, although the animation for intercepting it has been changed. Okay. So he's trying to rebuild. I'm not gonna let him. I'm just going to capture all of his land. Oh, the game is chucking so much. It's just a slow grind. Such a slow chugger. There we go. Now that we're on to Greenland, we have pretty easy access to Canada and Brazil. Australia is also here. They also exist. They haven't really been doing anything. Have they even been fighting anyone? Doesn't really seem like it, huh? I mean, I don't really need Australia. I don't think that's a large percentage of the map. Alright, I think it's about time that we end this, yeah? Ooh, Greenland's still building silos, huh? So I think what we do, we're just going to nuke both of these players with hydrogen bombs. I'm gonna drop one there. We're gonna drop one there. And we're also going to do 2 down here as well. That should absolutely cripple both of these powers. And then we should be able to jump in. Come on. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. All right, let's go. And we'll also finish off Greenland. Oof. Look at that invasion. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Again, a little jittery because of the size of this map. It's always important to keep in mind that this is the big world map. This isn't the normal world map, which always slows things down to kind of a crawl. But, yeah. We got this. I'd like to finish this game with a Merv on Antarctica. I think that would be a lot of fun. I don't think anything has changed with the Merv animation. I think it's the same old animation that it's always had. But let's just take out Canada, shall we? If we finish off Canada, we'll just roll straight through Brazil. And hopefully by then we'll have enough money for a Merv. How much are Mervs nowadays? 25 million. Okay. There we go. Apparently I clicked on some wasteland at some point. I don't remember when I did that. That's okay. I gotta clean that up too. Meanwhile, Brazil and Canada are still going to war with one another. Let's boat into the mountains here. Still pushing into the wilderness. That's okay. Nice. Now we're at 70%. We're still slow pushing on the wilderness. Here, let's stop that attack on the wilderness, and then we'll restart it so that we have more of a broad push against it. There we go. Okay, Canada has finally decided to attack the real enemy here. That's good. It's me. I'm the real enemy. What's this? Why is Hawaii just a little tiny island now? That's a little bit depressing. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised, but all right, let's bring down Brazil while we're here. That's not the end of Canada. Not yet, anyhow. Here, let's send a couple. I don't really want to send any more ships. I'll just use these ships. We'll go after. I'll have to go after this Canadian ship. We'll start pushing Brazil off. I wonder how it'll look. I want to get like a whole salvo going. Let's build a couple more missile silos. I know this goes against me merving Antarctica. But I think this will look cool. You know, for thumbnail purposes. You gotta get that thumbnail in. Brilliant. Do you want to just jump across? There we go. Good job. All right. Let's get that salvo, shall we? Now, the problem is that they're all going to launch from different locations. But that's okay. Look at that. That's beautiful. All right, there we go. Nice. Funny thing is, he fired back almost as many nukes as I fired. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. All right, let's try to capture the Caribbean then, shall we? Yeah, I mean, this game's over. Like, I'm just kind of playing around at this point, playing with my food a little bit. Delicious, delicious defeated enemy. Alright. So that should finish off Brazil. So the only player left is Antarctica. And they haven't really built anything. They have 25 million gold. And they haven't built a thing. That's kind of crazy to me. I almost don't want to nuke them. Because that might, like, wake them up. Alright, so that should be the end of Brazil, right? Conquer Brazil, 41 million gold. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but wouldn't it be cool if we just had like a big salvo on Antarctica? Like, first of all, can we aggro Antarctica into doing something? Let's merv Australia, because I still wanna play with the merv. Let's see if there's anything different there. Okay, so it has a different icon. It has a big, like, skull icon. That's pretty neat. And then it turns into a bunch of little tiny dots, and then it continues to just carpet bomb. Yeah. So that hasn't really changed at all. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Alright, let's conquer Australia. I also want to conquer New Zealand. And then we'll deal with Antarctica. Clean up the map a little bit. I'm sure a lot of people have tuned out by this point. That's okay. I understand. I kind of stopped talking about what was new with the update, and I'm just kind of playing around with the bots. And plus, with it being so slow and laggy, with it being like the bigger game, you know, it is what it is. I understand. I also find myself incredibly boring, so you're not the only ones. I said it's a joke. It's a joke. Honestly, a lot of times when I play this game, I just want to hang out and chill and listen to the music. And by the music, I mean the music that I play, which is the Particle Fleet Emergence soundtrack, which is from a completely different game that I should probably do a playthrough of, considering how much I think that this soundtrack, like, augments the audio or the gameplay. I mean, this is what I do. Whenever I'm playing games by myself, I just turn on, like, the soundtrack to a game that I think would fit, and then I just kind of play. I don't really do that much anymore because I'm doing a lot of streaming and other things. Also, I just want to say, 24 minutes? It's been a lot longer than 24 minutes. This game is chugging. Let's also invade. Can we not invade here? Oh, we already have 3 ships out? No, we only have 2 boats. There we go. That's looking better. Australia down here capturing my things. Australia's probably getting a lot of money from that. I mean, it's not going to matter. I'm going to take it all, but it's just kind of funny. There we go. I should probably have played this on like a smaller map, because this map isn't normal, but it's okay. It should be fine. I think I got my points across. I still like the game. I still like playing the game. I just, I don't know. I have some concerns about how this symbol will affect gameplay. Like, it's either going to change the game or stall the game. And I don't know which way it's going to go. Quite frankly, it could go either way. Come on, let me have this. There we go. We'll capture this too. That should really be it for New Zealand. New Zealand really didn't do much this game. Yeah. I mean, that's okay. And we'll finish off Antarctica. Or Australia, not Antarctica. There we go. So that just leaves... Kind of surprised the game hasn't ended yet, but maybe it hasn't ended because this is just a single-player game. I don't know, but we're going to finish off Antarctica in style. And by style, I mean we're just going to lob many, many nukes at them. Which I could pause the game and then do this, but that's okay. Because I'd like to launch them all at once instead of just one at a time. but it's fine. Man, I have so many silos. Well, I mean, I probably have enough silos that I could just keep spamming nukes, now that I think about it. But this will be great for thumbnail creation. Maybe not for this video, because I have another thing in mind for the thumbnail, but, like, thumbnailing in general. Which, I mean, Openfront is super easy to thumbnail. It's like other games, the thumbnails just kind of make themselves. So it's okay. But yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's about all I have to cover here. So I guess I'll let you guys go. Now that it's been like a 40, 50 minute long video. I don't quite know how long it's been. 56 minutes? Whatever, it's fine. Thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. I hope my rambling didn't get too frustrating. I'm sure it did. But until next time, folks. Happy gaming.